Hi everybody, it is Carolina Cooney here with Cooking with Carolina Live for the Oak Bluffs Public Library. I'm the programming coordinator for the library, and tonight we will be making some orange chicken. So as always, I'm very excited. I was just craving this dish. I have excess oranges that I need to use, and I thought orange chicken sounds really good right about now. So that is what we'll be making, and I do want to thank the Library Friends of Oak Bluffs for providing me with all the fantastic ingredients we have tonight. So let's get underway. The first thing that we're going to do is to make some brown rice. You can use white rice if you like. I really like brown rice a lot, so I tend to use it when I can. So we will take a cup of the brown rice. Put it in our pot. Woo. And then we need 2 cups of water. I'll be right back. All right, 2 cups of water. And we'll put this on the back burner. Actually, put it on the other side of the back burner. Got a lot going on tonight. And then we want to get that up to a boil, so we'll put it on high for now. Move that aside too. And we'll get out the lid for it as well. Make sure I got the right one. I did. Okay. So now we'll keep an eye on that and wait for it to boil, but we'll start getting prepared with everything else. So the first thing that we are going to do is to make the orange sauce. So I have these oranges to use. And you can use just a orange juice like this if you want. But since I have the oranges to use, I'm going to use those to juice. But first, we want to zest them because we will use the orange zest in the recipe. So I forgot to grab my zester. Be right back. All right, now we have our zester, and we will zest up some oranges. So zesting, you'll notice with this one, this orange is kind of squishy, a little old, past its prime perhaps. Perfect for juicing and using in the sauce, but not for zesting. So for zesting, you do need kind of a firmer, fresher orange. So you can get those good zests. Otherwise it just kind of mushes out and it's tough. Even this one is a little bad. Really shooting the orange oils out all over. Very fragrant. Let's try this one. Maybe it'll be a little better. A little bit. So you want to try to get about a tablespoon of the zest, if you're able. coming along. And we'll try this one too. Oh, this one's the best. Now we're talking. I'm getting some nice peels here. One more. All right. So here you can see our zest, and we will put that to the side. And now we'll cut our oranges in half for juicing. And of course, if you're juicing an orange, you want to be sure to cut it properly this way, not the way where the belly button is. Okay, now you can use whatever kind of juicer you prefer to juice your oranges. I happen to have this nifty little handy dandy hand juicer that used to be my grandmother Jean's, and I really love to use it. I don't juice things all that often, so it's very convenient just to be able to pull it out of the drawer. Rather than have something that takes up counter space. So you're going to want about a cup of juice. So if you can get that out of your fresh oranges, that's fantastic, but otherwise you can supplement. You might have to take out some of the pulp from your juicer. I will say this is not easy if you have carpal tunnel syndrome. Tough on the wrists. All right, last one. It's always kind of exciting too because you can't really see how much juice is in the cup right now. It's like the reveal at the end. Surprise! Okay, let's see how we did. Ooh, not bad, not bad. Okay. Let's clear this away. get ready for the next round. And see how we did here. I think we got a cup. Oh, yeah. Almost exactly a cup. And that was 4 oranges that made almost exactly a cup of juice. So we're going to use that, and then we're actually going, we'll need that again. Because we're going to put a little lemon juice in as well. I guess if you wanted to zest just a smidge of the lemon, you could do that too, just for a little kick. Not too much though, because it is orange chicken. And for this you want about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, so not much. Probably good, and I'm just going to go ahead and add it here. Yep, just about perfect. Maybe that was a tiny bit under a 1/4 of a cup, but good enough. Hi, Yvette from Michigan. All right, thanks for joining us. And we're going to add some rice vinegar to this. So I have this seasoned rice vinegar. Not sure what it's seasoned with. Corn syrup. Apparently corn syrup, salt, and brown sugar. Well, we're going to use a 1/3 of a cup of this. So if you want to math it up here, you could just add it directly to a measuring cup if you're using that. It's a good bit of vinegar, I will say that. It's not shy. And then 2½ tablespoons of soy sauce. Which also is a good bit. There's 1. There's 2. And there's about 1/2. So now we're going to put this in a saucepan over medium heat, which I always go medium low because I swear my stove cooks hot. I'm going to get a little scraper for our mixing. And we are going to put our mixture in the saucepan. We can adjust the camera. There we go. And now that we have that in, we will set it over medium heat. We're going to stir in some brown sugar. And it's a good bit of brown sugar. I'm not going to use quite as much as the recipe calls for, which is a packed cup of brown sugar. Because damn, that's a lot of sugar. So maybe I'll use 3/4 of a cup. That's a little too sweet for me. I think that's plenty. 1 cup. My mom. And now we'll add some minced ginger. Now, the store for some reason completely wiped out of ginger, surprisingly enough. Luckily, this has come in handy more and more lately. I have some refrigerated organic minced ginger that I've been using in recipes and have been loving it. Totally loving it. It's been great. Great flavor. Very convenient. Always on hand. So we need a 1/2 teaspoon of this. It does seem a little stronger then fresh ginger. So if you like ginger, that's great. If you don't want it overly gingery, you could use just a tiny bit less than what it calls for. Now we need about a half a teaspoon of garlic, which is not a lot. So I would say maybe one large, what's a piece of garlic called? Just one piece. I know there must be a name for it. If anybody knows, they can type it in the comments. Clove! There we go. Thank you. This is what happens when you're on camera. Your mind goes blank. So we're keeping an eye on everything else here. We have our rice that is just boiling, so we'll go and turn that down and set our timer for 45 minutes because it is brown rice. If you're using white rice, you can set it for 15 minutes. So we're mincing up our garlic here. And one clove definitely will be plenty. All right, that looks good. We've got some action going on here. A little bubbling. Let's give this a stir. We'll want to bring it to a boil. And as we're doing that, we need about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, or to taste. We'll probably do a little less than that, because I'm afraid. Or a little more than that. All right. And now we do, woo, watch that boil, it's about to bubble up over. Keep an eye on it. I turned it down to low. And now we're going to mix up, we can use our cup we've already used. You want to take about a tablespoon of cornstarch and mix that with about 2 tablespoons of water. Woo. And you can leave the cornstarch handy because you'll be using that again. I'm going to grab a little water. One, two, and you can use just a fork to mix that up. And what this mixture will do is to thicken up your sauce. sure you'll want to heat it to boiling here. Add in your cornstarch mixture, get it back up to a boil. All right, there we go. And you want this to get to be a nice consistency because you want it to coat the chicken with a nice thick orange glaze. Make some super psychedelic bubbles when you stir it too. Ooh. Okay, so now that we have this thickened, we can turn it off and put this to the side to hang out. And get ready for phase 2. So now we will get going on the chicken. And for the chicken, we do want to cut it up into small pieces. Tidy your area just a bit. Now, since we only cut vegetables on this cutting board, we can go ahead and use it for our chicken too. I always make sure it smells good. And we're going to cut these in about 1-inch chunks. Time to sharpen my knives again. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to rinse up. And I'm going to get a bag, like like a gallon-size bag here, and we're going to make a little mixture of cornstarch and flour and salt and pepper. So let's see, we need about a half to a third to a half a cup of flour. And about the same amount of cornstarch. Quarter teaspoon or so of salt. You can guesstimate or you can measure that out. And same with your pepper. A few turns. Now shake this all up to mix it together. And so this will be our dredge. Now we're done with the cornstarch. We can put that away. Although you might want to leave it out if you want to make your sauce a little thicker. Maybe just put it to the side for now. And what we will do now is to crack 3 eggs into pie plate is what I find is easiest to use. And let's see, if you still have that fork that you used to mix the cornstarch up, you could use that again. So now we'll want to coat all the chicken with this zinc. Contaminated! Okay, we want to coat all the chicken with the egg mixture, which is just egg. Rid of some of these excess things. So we're coating all that in our egg mixture. Then prep your bag and have it open already would be ideal. Then we're going to put all the chicken into the bag. Try to shake off the excess egg. You don't want it too soggy. Okay, I'm going to dump this and wash my hands. I'm going to go ahead and put a little olive oil in the pan. Okay, and you can use olive oil or you can use a combination. I think I'll actually use a combination of oils. This is a lot of olive oil. I don't want to use it all. So you'll need about 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of my good olive oil. And 2 tablespoons of canola oil. And you'll also want to grab a pair of tongs. And I'm using my tongs with the silicone because I'm using a non-stick pan. I'm going to go ahead and get this hot, hot, hot. So basically we're frying, but I'm not doing a deep fry. And so now we're going to shake up our chicken in our bag here. And the bag just makes it so convenient to really get all those pieces nice and coated and not waste. And it's kind of fun too. Okay, I'm gonna have a look. Okay, we're getting nice and hot here. Rinse my hands again. Sure you get real good and hot here. And also, while we are waiting for this to get hot on like a medium high, I have prepared already a plate with paper towels for draining it after we take it out of the oil. I think we're looking pretty good here. This was always one of my favorite things to do with my mom. To test the oil, you just splat a little water in there, see if it spits at you. Ooh, like that, there we go. We have spit. So we have a generous coating of oil on the bottom of the pan that's nice and hot and popping. Pop, pop. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the chicken. And spread that around as an even layer. Even hotter. All right, you can dispose of your bag. More washing. This is not as loud as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a big sizzly excitement, but it's a quiet sizzly excitement. Now it's a good time to do a few exercises. You can do some squats while you're waiting for it to get nice and brown on one side. We had an excellent dance class this morning with the library for Salsa Suelta Cubana with Christina Montoya. And everybody can come to that. It is free. The next one will be on January 16th at 11 on Saturday. And it was a lot of fun. If you're interested, you can DM me here or email me at ccooney@clamsnet.org. So my rule of thumb when cooking chicken as to when to flip it is to wait until you see that it's about 3/4 white and cooked through on the one side before flipping it. I always cook it a lot more on the one side before I flip, rather than say half-half. And if you are using brown rice, like I like to, I would recommend cooking it in advance. I wouldn't wait to start it right when you start your recipe, because it does take a little bit longer to cook than the actual recipe itself. And I actually think it's great to have brown rice on hand, so I'll cook a batch of brown rice and then freeze it, and then you can take it out and use it during the week for other recipes. Very handy. The less you handle it while it's cooking also, the better, because you don't want to lose that nice breading, the coating that you've made. And if you're messing with it, that can often fall off. Just pumping this up all the way. I think we can start flipping some here. Have a nice golden brown. And so gently pick them up and rotate them, piece by piece. Hard work on your hands to keep the tongs clenched. So once you get to this point, you sort of have to work quickly and efficiently, turning. Because you don't want them getting too done or burn on the one side. Whew. It's not easy. I guess this is where like a fryer basket and a deep fryer would just be handy. Okay. I've got them all flipped now. And so we'll cook them over on this side to get that nice crisp coating. And this is nice because really they don't get too greasy cooking in just the 3 tablespoons of oil.
I still on it. Hi guys, subscribe to Carolina Cooney Cooking Show. Or is it Instagram or Facebook?
No, it's on Facebook.
Oh.
And now that we have both sides crisped up, I'm going to kind of just toss it around gently just to get the sides crisped up too, since they're basically cubes. But I'm not going to go and turn all of them on every side.
I'm going to have a piece of bread.
Okay. Just one.
Just one, see Mom?
You can close that up.
Oh.
So now we're just doing the final crispening. The crispening. Just to get it nice and golden on all the sides. I tend to like it extra crispy. I don't know, we'll be decent on the rice. Start at maybe 10 minutes before you start the rest. Alrighty, so I would say we're good here. Woo. And we can pour it all. You can take it piece by piece if you want, or pour it onto your drainage plate there. Try not to have any runaways. Alright, now we'll let this drain for just a few minutes. It's not very oily, which is really nice. And we will wipe out our pan. With the excess oil and breadcrumbs and whatnot. And at this point, what I would do, what I'm going to do, is to prepare everything else to make sure it's all ready. So, for instance, I am going to have some broccoli with this because I think orange chicken and broccoli is the way to go. So I will chop up a little broccoli here. So for broccoli, this is real talk now. I really like to cook my broccoli in the microwave. I think it makes the best broccoli. Keeps it really bright and fresh and green. And so I just break up the pieces and put them back into a bag or a microwave safe container. Then to add to that, you could put a little pat of butter. Which I don't have much left. Not much. Put that in there. And then you can cook this on the microwave. It'll steam in a bag for about 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes. I wouldn't put it in for any longer because it can very easily burn. So now I'm going to check on my sauce. And as I thought, it's not as thick as I want it to be. So what we're going to do is pour, hot pan, still a hot pan. Get your scraper. There. And then we're going to cook this down a little bit more to get a thicker sauce. I don't think we'll have to add more cornstarch, but we'll see if it starts thickening up. If it doesn't, we'll have to make a little more of our cornstarch mixture. I don't want it to be too watery. We want a nice thick coating. I think I actually will make up a little more of the cornstarch mixture. And actually, it says to use water with the cornstarch, but often I will use like orange juice. Let's see how we do with that. Maybe I'll put it all in. So we're gonna let this cook down for a few minutes, just stirring constantly as we go here. Since it does have that sugar in it, it can burn quite easily if you get distracted. Starting to see it thicken up here a bit. Maybe it's the cornstarch. It is quite a large amount of the glaze, so I think we needed a little more. Not quite where I want it to be. It looks awfully thin. I'm gonna put some more cornstarch in. Woohoo. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, we're finally starting to see more of that glaze that we want to see, rather than a thin sauce. We want this to be a real coating. Yeah, this is much better. Okay, now that we've achieved our desired consistency here. Oh yes, much better. We want it to really coat the spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. I will go grab the broccoli. Which here you can see how beautifully that came out. How bright green, perfect it is. We're gonna go ahead and put our zest into our sauce here. And you can leave just a little bit if you want to use it as a festive and colorful garnish. Save just a little bit aside. Stir that on in. Oh yeah, now we're nice and thick. That's what I wanted. And the zest really does make a difference in the flavor. Now, I'm going to take some green onions, not a lot because I seem to be the only one that likes them. Rinse them up. I think they're quite essential. And chop them down to the white. If you have some little dish to hold garnish in, you could put them in there, which is what I'll do. Or you can put them directly in the sauce if everybody likes them. Save a few aside just to put on top. Okay, I'm gonna do a little cleanup here. Our brown rice is almost done. And so since that's about ready, I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken back in with the sauce and get it all mixed up, coated. Yum. Gently. You don't want to knock off all your breading. Oh yeah, see. I'm very pleased that I thickened that sauce up more. That's more what I want to see. If you want to get really wild, you could even go sesame orange chicken and throw some sesame seeds or some toasted sesame seeds in there. So, when the rice is done, I'll go ahead and plate it up. I'll put a picture in the comments and let you know how we did. So, thank you for joining me, and please do join me next week on Cooking with Carolina. Good night.